Hello, welcome back to another fun training. This training today is actually going to be about case management. So I'm sure you have heard me mention cases a few times now, whether it was in our systems training, in our metrics training, or even about the health logic. They're a huge part about our role. So fortunately, one important thing to keep in mind is that cases are strictly used by customer success. There are no other teams that use cases, so if you're ever observing cases on accounts, you can know they're always either documented by another customer success manager or yourself. So just wanted to let you know about that. Let's dive right in. So cases are both proactive and reactive. Now, I mentioned in our metrics training that our role is very proactive, but there's still a reactive piece to it. The proactive piece to our job is kind of intertwined with the reactive piece. Now, I'll explain kind of what that means. So, cases are created automatically, and they're also created manually. The reactive cases are the automatically created cases. Now, why might some cases create automatically for a specific account? Well, product usage red flags. The customers maybe stopped using the product. They're not using it quite right. Maybe they removed a connection. That is a red flag of product. So we get alerted of that. We get a notification that says, hey, your customer is not doing so well. You should probably reach out. That's how it's reactive. The same goes for cancellations and declined credit cards. Now, anyone who submits a cancellation request, we're obviously reacting to that request. The same goes for if someone's card declines when we try to process a payment. We're again having to react and get the credit card information from the customer and get them back on track. Now, there's one other piece to the reactive cases that might not actually always be product related, and that's inbound emails and voicemails. So we have a customer success phone line. This is extension 2. Extension 2 will direct to our customer success round robin phone line. So we all have our own accounts, but there's also this phone line that people will call to try to get some help. Now, we should all be logged into the call queue at all times to be able to grab some of these calls and then transfer the call to the assigned customer success manager. However, that's not always possible. We all might be on other calls, so we have cases that are created. If someone emails the customer success email address, which is customersuccess@webgility.com, or we actually get the voicemail recording attached to the case itself if someone calls in and we miss it. So those are round robin assigned to you, and that's why it's reactive. They called us, we're just calling back. But otherwise, for the most part, the reactive cases are going to be for product usage or someone's trying to cancel. The other half of things is proactive cases. The proactive cases are manually created. Now, proactive kind of is intertwined with our cases for, removed connection. So what I mean by that is we got a notification for a removed connection. They disconnected their accounting system. We will then proactively reach out to that person and address the situation. However, we're still actually reacting to the case. Maybe I'm overcomplicating it, but it seems to be a little complicated. So good way to look at it is if you are dealing with anything on the customer journey, that is, an account review, a welcome call, a launch call, something along those lines, that needs a case because you have to put notes somewhere. And the best way to put notes on an account is through a case, because then you can see the date and time stamp of that situation, and you can see the whole progression of the customer journey on one account. So it's a really, really good place to start. The other proactive cases that are manually created will be for like 30-day check-ins. So as a reminder, you have to contact people every 30 days. Well, you'll use a case to document your notes from that check-in. The same goes for a general question. So you might reach out to respond to an email, or someone may call you asking some random question, and then you would just create a general check-in or a general question case and put your notes in for that. Again, the reason for this is to really see like the whole history of the account, because if we go strictly off of the contact rate and see what emails and calls were sent, we can't really get the full history of the account. So creating these manual cases to document your customer journey touch points are very important for yourself to know kind of what kind of experience this customer has had, and have they had the proper touch points and engagement that they're supposed to have. Upsells and downgrades tie right into proactive cases simply because you might be reaching out to someone about an account review. You complete that account review, but it opened up an upsell conversation or it opened up a downgrade conversation. So you'll create an upsell case. Upsell cases are used to help project your pipeline. I mentioned in the metrics training that you'll go over your pipeline with your manager, and that's one of the ways you do it. You get an account review, you find out that they're going to be adding a channel in 2 months. You create an upsell case, you put the upsell amount in there for $50 because an additional store channel might be $50, and then you would report that to your manager. So again, cases are to help you keep track of what's happening on your account while also be able to quickly report on what you're working on as well. Salesforce has so much reporting in it, and as you can see in the screenshot on the top here, this is just a simple report of the amount of cases that are open in each person's name and what type of case it is. You can make your life really easy if you use your cases for all of your notes, because then you can see exactly what's going on and what you have to action, and it's much easier to report on. So anywho, let's just move on. So to dive deeper into the type of proactive cases that we have, the customer journey and the check-ins and support tickets. Support tickets, general and check-in kind of all tie together. They're really for your organization to better help you prioritize your cases. So let me just start from the top here. The beginning of the customer journey is the welcome call. So there is a template for the welcome call, which you have access to in Trainual. You will put all your notes from the welcome call, paste it right into the welcome call case, and bada bing, bada boom, close it. That first step of the customer journey is complete. You see it on the customer's account. Great, we're good. Then 30 days from then, they probably will finish implementation. That's when you go about your CSM handoff case. The CSM handoff case oftentimes will be manually created, but if someone's in implementation for longer than 30 days, it'll automatically create just as a trigger warning to let you know, hey, it's been a little while since you've talked to this customer. They're not really done implementing, but you should probably reach out and see how things are going anyway. So again, you'll probably see that in the future. It might not be something that comes up too much, so don't focus too much on it. But for the most part, the welcome call, the CSM handoff, and then an account review would follow that. That's the ideal customer journey, as I went over in the other training on the customer journey, which I am sure you watched at this point. Moving on from that, another manual case that you'll open is the check-in case. You put notes in for 30-day engagement check-ins. General cases is when a customer reaches out about a question. You just put some notes in there, what the question was about, and if there's any follow-up required, that way you have it. And then the support ticket cases. So these are really, really good for helping your manager understand what's a churn risk. So let's say you're talking to a customer and they let you know that they're having an issue with their support ticket. I mean, maybe it's just not getting resolved, or maybe it's occurred a few times now and they just want to get it solved. You'll want to create a support ticket case because you're tracking that churn risk on the basis of a support ticket. So it'll fall in line with, almost cancellations. You want to reach out every 48 hours on support ticket cases because this is an ongoing issue. They're working with support every day. You want to make sure that you know who's working with support in your book of business so that you can kind of help them manage their tickets and experience throughout the whole thing. I like to view our customer success organization as very much project managers, because when people are working through any type of support ticket or any type of implementation, they need a point of contact, they need to be communicated with and understood, and they want to be checked in with to make sure that they're getting everything they need. So the support ticket cases are a great way to do that. Again, it's a manually created case, so use it at your disposal, but it's a really great way to prioritize your churn risk accounts across the board there. On the right is just an example of an account review case. It can be very basic. You have your template, you fill in your notes for the template, you just copy and paste it right there into the case, and you can close the case. It's easy. Great little notes form. Doesn't need to stay open unless there's some sort of action item like I had here. I had a follow-up date in April because they planned on connecting EDI at that point. So I left that one open because this is a very important big customer. I wanted to make sure I had eyes on it, and it had that follow-up date, so I didn't need to actually update it every 14 days like our metrics say we're supposed to, because I have the follow-up date. If you have a question about that process, go back and watch the metrics training again, and it'll touch on that, okay? All right. So some more proactive cases that we have. I kind of duplicated things a little bit, so just ignore general and support tickets, but upsells and downgrades. If you are dealing with an upsell or you're dealing with a downgrade of any sort whatsoever, create a case. Again, the reason being, you have to report your pipeline. If you don't have an upsell case, it is so difficult to be able to go back and remember what upsells you're working on and exactly how much they're for. Notes will just save your life at this job. If you have a lot of notes, your life will be easy. So I always suggest it. Get an upsell case created. If it's a downgrade, that's okay. Customers are allowed to downgrade. It's totally fine. Create the downgrade case, put in the downgrade amount, and that way, when you have your one-on-one with your manager, you can be like, "Yep, I'm sitting on $300 of churn, but I have 200 in my upsell pipeline. One of those might be a downgrade." So when the end of the month comes, or when the end of the quarter comes, you reported what to expect by the end of it. You're doing your job as a customer success manager for Webgility, and you're also doing your job for your customer by managing this conversation efficiently and effectively. And again, general support tickets, we'll move on from that. Some of the reactive cases. So these reactive cases are pretty serious. So for instance, the first one you see there is no usage. I mentioned in our health logic training that a customer with 0 usage for 30 days has a health score of 0 automatically because they are a severe risk. This no usage case is created if someone has not used the system for 60 days or more. So basically, you should be monitoring your customer's health. As the metrics say, you're supposed to check your red accounts every single day. You should know what's going on with those customers. If you have 10 customers with 0 usage, you likely know what's going on with them. This no usage case is kind of like a safety net. It's kind of a safety net for if you happen to miss one person that's had 0 usage for 30 days, this case should catch them on the next time around. So it should open after 60 days of 0 usage, 0 posting to QuickBooks. 2 months without posting to QuickBooks is a big deal when you're an e-commerce business. So that's why this is so reactive. You get a no usage case, you react, you call the customer, you find out why they're not using it, right? Makes sense. The same goes for removed connection. Removed connection will typically always precede the no usage case because when someone removes a connection, whether it's their accounting system or a store connection, it's indicative that they're about to have no usage because we have nothing to post to or download from. Granted, you might have a customer who has 5 connections and you receive a removed connection case. They may have just removed one store and replaced it with another one, and it might not be a big deal. So the removed connection case is not always a red flag, but it could be a red flag. Another red flag that comes in mind with removed connection is they might be working with support. So you get a removed connection case. You talk to the customer and they say, yeah, we're doing a bunch of testing right now with one of our new websites and support is helping us through it. They've had to disconnect it a couple times in order to make this happen. Issue still stands, but we're working through it. No problem. That removed connection case, you can actually just edit it and change it to a support ticket case if you wanted at that point. So the support ticket case is manually created, right? But you could just change this removed connection case to support tickets because the removed connection ended up coming out of a support ticket. I hope that makes sense. I know I talk a lot, might be a little complicated, but what I'm saying is you have control over these cases. You have control over how you're organizing your day and organizing your customers and organizing your action items. So that would be a really good example of changing something. But all in all, let's say the removed connection case truly is someone disconnecting their accounting system or purposely disconnecting their store. It's indicative that they're trying another service or their business is getting smaller, which means they might not have as much volume and the value of Webgility slowly goes down. So that's why that's such a reactive case. You really got to find out what's going on there. The other two that I've mentioned a few times is the failed billing and cancellation. Obviously, someone's account goes expired. We react, we call them, we get a new card on file. If a customer requested a cancellation, you call the customer, find out what's going on, and then work out of that cancellation case. So automatically created always, failed billing and cancellation requests. No usage and removed connection, like I said, you might use those and manually create them yourself at some point, but they do automatically create based off of what's happening in the product. So some more reactive cases I mentioned, the inbound emails and calls. We receive calls to extension 2, and it creates a call for any calls that we miss. We receive emails, excuse me, we receive emails that create a case as well. There's billing inquiry and CS inquiry. I mentioned that people can email customersuccess@webgility.com. That's what a CS inquiry case would look like. These are all labeled directly in the case, so you can see exactly where it's coming from. It says billing inquiry or it says CS inquiry, and it shows you the email they sent in the chatter tab of the case, which another customer success manager will be able to show you this in further training. So again, don't worry if you're not memorizing every word I'm saying. You're just trying to get the high level understanding. Long story short, when customers email any of our group distribution emails for billing or customer success, they are round robin assigned to us, and then we action them. Majority of the times, these cases will not really need to be actioned too much. You'll find that some of the voicemail cases are actually someone just breathing heavily because they don't realize that it went to voicemail because they might have been on hold for a while. So just be warned, you might get some weird voicemails here and there. If you ever get a voicemail, that's definitely something to action. The phone number is there. Call the customer back, and you're going to be the best customer success manager ever for calling them back, because I've left voicemails at customer service companies and I've never gotten a call back, and it's very upsetting to have to call in again. So again, you'll make their day. Now, oh, that's the last slide here. So let me just walk you through a case really quick. Let's just take a look. Here, I'll pull up the dashboard so you get a little bit of dashboard training here as well. This is the management dashboard that I'm pulling up. It looks very much like the dashboard you will look at. However, only your name will show here. This is a whole team thing. So see the all cases open by type and MRR. Let's take a look at some cancellation cases. That's fun. Okay, why don't we just dive into Apothecana Holdings. Here's the cancellation request. Fun fact, if you click the subject line, it brings you directly into the case. If you click the opportunity name, it'll bring you to the opportunity. So when working out of these reports, it's the easiest to just get case access if you actually click on it. Now, here's an example. I had a couple examples in the slideshow, but this is more real life. We have a follow-up date listed here. On 8/22, they said they're moving to a new solution. They were going to go to an accounting piece to do that manually. So she's following up with them on 9/5 because she didn't have time to talk and requested her to call her then. It's a churn risk. So cancellation requests will always be marked as a churn risk here. This churn risk checkbox, this is totally for your organization. No one's really looking at this box. There is a churn risk box on the opportunity itself that you will want to check if the whole account is a churn risk, okay? So there's unresponsive, there's saved. So we have a lot of checkboxes all over the place here. Anywho, looking back on the case, you can see the usage of the customer. We pull this right directly from the opportunity. It shows the health, shows when they signed up. If their onboarding is complete, that's always important. Here's that churn risk checkbox for the opportunity level. So this is totally for your organization. This is important to check if the whole account is at risk for canceling. And then your notes can go in simply like this. Again, these notes are really for you as a CSM, and they are required. You need to put notes on everything, but it's up to you how you want to organize them. So this is a great format. You know, you have the date, a brief note about what happened. You don't have to go in too much detail. But it's good to have all this contact here. This is the original cancellation request notes. This is when the customer requested to be contacted and what they said, all this fun stuff. But as you can see, there's been a lot of engagement on here. After this point in time, you know, there need to be some more notes. So that's why she started putting notes up here. You'll find every case looks a little bit different. It's how you want to organize it and how you're able to convey really what's going on the case with your manager. As long as these notes are here, then you're good to go. If we want to look at just one other different type of case here, let's just take a look at support tickets. So this is that manual case I was talking about. A manual case, see how it says no usage? Cameron reassigned the case type to support tickets because a no usage case was opened. The customer was like, we have no usage because we have problems. And then he was like, okay, I better reassign this case to be support tickets. Now, let's dive in here and take a look at what's going on. You can see the date and time the case was opened. You can see the most recent updated note. You can see Cameron, see, this is a good example of kind of doing notes however you want. Cameron puts his most updated note in his case status, but he doesn't bother to duplicate efforts here. However, in the future, when he has to update this note, he'll probably copy and paste it down here and then put his new note up there. Again, it's however you want to go about it. As long as this case status has an updated note and there's some context here in the description, you're good to go. Other than that, you know, cases can be found on the opportunity level and the account level. So if you look here on the right, you see several different cancellation cases. It looks like a no usage case eventually opened up its own cancellation request. What I mean by that is Kayla got a no usage, the customer then requested to cancel, and she went and followed the cancellation process to create a cancellation case. Side note, if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the cancellation training and watch the process flow in the Trainual section as well. And then, yeah, like I said, when you're looking at your own accounts, you'll come over here, you'll see the cases, and then you can go click in and see kind of what went down last time. That's why cases are so important. It's so fast to just view the opportunity and just click right in and be like, oh man, I haven't talked to this customer in 30 days. Should probably figure out what happened last time. Oh, okay, I should go into the cancellation case then. Okay, we're gonna go there, we're gonna take a look. Bada bing, bada boom, there's the notes I need. Super quick. All right, well, if you have any questions about cases, ask any of the customer success managers near you. They have all dealt with them, they're all familiar with them, and then when in doubt, you can go back to Trainual and check out why all these cases are created and how to manage them. Alrighty, fun stuff. I will talk to you in the next training. Have a good day.